Hey everybody, I am just running a test with these headphones that I found in my daughter's room. And I'm going to look at the first couple pages of the chapter 16 and do this in two different videos because yesterday I tried and it would not work. So we'll see how today goes. We're on chapter 16, supply and demand influences, how supply and demand influences price. Topic is markets. Markets are places where buyers and sellers interact. Their interaction determines the prices for goods and services in the market economy. Their interactions also allocate resources, goods, and services. Our state standard is the interaction of supply and demand influenced by competition helps to determine the price in the market. This interaction also includes the quantities of outputs produced and the quantity of inputs used. The inputs would be your human resources, which is your labor or workers, natural resources, things that come from the ground, and capital, which are the things you own to make your business run, including money and finances. The only thing missing from there is the entrepreneur. It's another factor of production, and the entrepreneur brings all those things together to create a business. After reading this chapter, you should be able to define the following terms: law of demand, demand curve, law of supply, supply curve, equilibrium price, and competition. You should also be able to describe how the laws of supply and or you should be able to describe the laws of supply and demand, explain how supply and demand determine price in the market economy, and identify some of the factors that lead to changes in supply and demand for a product. Main ideas of this content statement: in a market economy, people are free to make, sell, and buy whatever goods and services they want. Economic decisions are made on the basis of free choice. There are two basic laws that form the foundation of the marketplace. Those laws are the law of supply and the law of demand. These are not laws in the sense of rules that people must obey, but rather the laws that describe what generally happens in a large number of interactions. The laws of supply and demand relate to the price charged for a good or a service to the quantities that are produced and sold. First, we have the law of demand. Demand refers to how much of a good or service consumers are willing to buy at a particular price. As prices increase, fewer people are willing to buy a product. As the prices decrease, more people are willing to buy a product. How many people are willing to buy frozen yogurt at $3? Well, what they have here is a demand curve. And on the horizontal axis, you see quantity. On the vertical axis, you see the price. So you have to look for $3, which is right here. And then you go over and you see how many people, which is here. You come down, and 50 people are willing to buy that particular item at $3. How many people are willing to buy the same frozen yogurt at 50 cents? Well, look at your 50-cent mark here, go across, come down where the point is, and you will see that 300 people are willing to buy the yogurt at 50 cents a piece. What might explain why the demand for the frozen yogurt changes with the price? The reason the demand changed is because the yogurt is less costly and more people can afford to buy it at 50 cents than at $3. So basically what we're looking at here is the curve in the graph is known as the demand curve. It shows how many frozen yogurts that consumers would be willing to buy at different prices. Now we have the law of supply. The law of supply. The law of supply concerns the decisions of the producers. These are manufacturers and merchants who supply the goods and services available for consumers to buy. These are the outputs of the production process. Producers are willing to sell more product as its price raises or rises. More producers may manufacture a good if they think that they can charge more. They will also use more resources, even if the resources become more expensive to produce, because they know that they can charge more for that product. And then you have your supply curve here, which goes the opposite direction of the demand curve. How many frozen yogurts is a store willing to sell at 50 cents? Well, if you go to 50 cents right here and you go over and you see that it touches here and you go down, they're only willing to sell 50 cups of yogurt. How many frozen yogurts would the store sell at $3? Well, you go up your price here to $3, which is right there. You go over where it meets, and then you come down and it says 300. They're willing to sell 300 cups of yogurt. What happens to the supply of frozen yogurt? What happens to the supply of frozen yogurts made available as the price increases? The supply of frozen yogurts is more profitable at $3, so the producers are willing to make more. And then to finish up here with the supply and demand, and this is the supply section. As you can see, if it can charge $3 for each frozen yogurt, the store is willing to buy more sweetener, milk, fat, and other ingredients to make frozen yogurt. In addition, they are willing to purchase more machines to make 300 frozen yogurt cups a day. However, if the store can only charge 50 cents for a frozen yogurt, they would look to buy the least expensive ingredients and probably only use one machine in their store. The most that they could make in a day at that price would be 50 frozen yogurts. The curved line in graph 2 is called the supply curve. It shows the quantity of frozen yogurts that producers are willing and able to sell or supply at different prices. The amount that producers are willing to supply will in turn affect their need for resources, such as human resources or their workers, natural resources, the things that they have to bring in that is made from the land, and capital needed to produce those frozen yogurts. These are the inputs into the production process. How prices are determined will be done in a separate video, and I will come back to that in the next video. So there is going to be video 1 and video 2. This is the end of this video.